Well, you know what that music means. It's time for another episode of Morning Round. That's right. Welcome, Disc Disciples. I'm your host, Greggy Biscuits. We are here in the OTB virtual studios. I'm here in our beautiful podcast room in Stockton, California. I am so excited to see my friend, my good buddy, the big homie, the natural, the one and only Connor O'Reilly. Connor, how you doing?
Good, and even better now that I'm looking at your face and hearing your voice and sitting here in the middle of the cornfields and soy fields of Illinois and some good disc golf country.
This is what player support's all about.
Yeah, no,
Good to see you. I haven't seen you as much on the road this year as last year. I'm not logging quite the miles, keeping up with you crazy pro tour heads.
Yeah, we definitely miss you.
It's but you haven't seen the last of me yet. I think we're going to be out there for the East Coast swing, so stay tuned for exciting developments on that. But we should be out for Worlds through Women's, so looking forward to that East Coast swing, powered by OTB East. But yeah, you're there at Ledgestone. Let's get to the matter at hand. First tournament in a little while. Had a little break here. Didn't end up going to Europe. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, I missed the European qualification just barely. I kept kind of dodging it. Had some good weekends that weren't qualifying weekends, and I had a slow start to my season, admittedly. So I feel like that kind of kept me from qualifying for European Open. I still thought about maybe trying to make it and just playing Sula over in Norway because I know how good of a time it would be, and it was just a little bit expensive this year. So we went and spent some time with my sister in Michigan, got to do some resting and playing disc golf for fun, which, it's good to remember sometimes that, like, hey, I like playing disc golf. I don't just do it because it's my job and not just grinding out tour stops. Like, disc golf is something that I see myself doing even when I don't have to go show up to my practice round or my actual tee time. So yeah, we got a little time away, and then wanted to get back to the Mid America Open, but unfortunately my hip kind of flared up on me. My hamstring got a little bit too tight. I've had kind of a hip thing since my basketball days, and I just let my hamstrings get a little bit too tight in the sand dunes, and yeah, I just kind of lingered all week, and I couldn't really throw the shots I needed to. I couldn't really focus on the shot. My focus was being pulled to the, like, whether my body was gonna have the timing I expected or whatever it was. So, and the pain was pretty bad. I could barely even like put a lot of pressure on my left leg, but the nice thing is I kind of know how to handle when that flares up, and I'm at the point now where I feel good again. I still need to keep making sure I stay on my routine of recovering every night for at least like 30 minutes to an hour. Honestly, if I don't spend an hour on my body every night, eventually it kind of catches up. The tour's so fast, and the courses we play are so long, and I feel like the number of reps we have to get in to really like figure out a course and make a strong game plan. It's hard to get rest in out here on the tour.
Yeah, rest's not really a huge resource there when you're on the road, when you have to think about factoring in your practice rounds, factoring in the travel. Let alone just like kind of any sort of pleasurable sort of playing that sort of goes out the window during the season. And then you're one of our, better creators, better content guys. And so you're out there doing those extra rounds and then also putting in that time to provide tour commentary. Have you noticed that this year, how you've had to change your routine to accommodate a little more of that commentary schedule?
Yeah, I've definitely taken on quite a bit doing it for post-production at all disc golf pro tour events, silver and elite. So I think it's something I might kind of do half step on next season, maybe not quite as heavy. I've enjoyed doing FPO chase card, but I don't know that I'll continue to do that next season. I think having the time to get those extra putting reps in at night, or like I said, take care of my body, really is crucial for myself as a player. And as much as I want to like dip my toe in commentary and have that in for later in life, I think, and to get the experience in it, because I do enjoy talking disc golf, and I feel like it's something that I want to get better at. I feel like it does take away a little bit of my time as a competitor, and I mean, it's already such a 24-hour a day job. I feel like to be where I want to be, that like that extra 2-3 hours gone for that just like crunches the rest of your time even more. Less time for family time, with a girlfriend and the dog and stuff like that. I feel like throughout the season definitely has made it a little more difficult, but at the same time, like, I love working hard and trying to do as much as I can. So I think it's been a good balance, I think.
Well, yeah, and it goes back to they've got so much stuff to manage now with, obviously your disc golf performance, and then brand management, and then all these sort of extracurriculars. Because again, not only with commentary, but you're doing the Uplay events and showing up for the fans and doing those kind of meet and greets and stuff when you can. So again, props to you for doing the hard work, and then listening to your body here, because again, wasn't necessarily going to be a debilitating injury, but one that's a lingering injury. So to monitor that last week, which I know is tough because that's a course that you love. Of course, you're still currently tied for the
Yeah,
course record.
somewhat.
Nobody. Did anyone break it? Was there a
No,
12?
no one touched it last week. So yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
something I kind of glanced over that. Yeah, I mean, I was leading through two last year, tied with Alden, and kind of botched the front nine the final round. Played a good back. 2 years ago there when we had to move to Albert Oakland course, I came off the fourth card, and if I would have made my final three birdies on the last three holes, I would have pushed a playoff with Kyle. Two of them were like on the basket from circle's edge. The other one was kind of a bonus birdie, but kind of like made a shot. I feel like when I'm in Columbia, Missouri, I just and I'm tied for the course. I think I own the course record at that course. At Harmony, I'm
Mm-hmm.
tied for it. So I feel like when I'm in Columbia, I just feel like it's just I gotta play. So I think any other silver event, it would have been easier for me to just you say, you know what, I'm just gonna do commentary this week and get my
Right.
body feeling good because we have such a big stretch of the season here with Ledgestone, Idlewild, another Elite Plus, and D-Glow, and then we're getting to
Mm-hmm.
into the playoff time. So it's like, yeah, definitely it was the right call to make. But I mean, yeah, I think any other weekend it would have been easy for me to not try to play instead of DNFing during round one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I couldn't even focus on hole 8, which was like a 240-foot uphill kind of ace run shot, and in that moment, it's like that's probably the least physically demanding tee shot on the course, and if I can't even really
Mm-hmm.
focus my mind on that, then it felt like I had to go. So it was sad. It definitely shed a couple tears out there. I mean, I pride myself in being kind of toughened through. I've toughed through injuries my whole life. I mean, I played basketball
Mm-hmm.
through a broken spine that I didn't even know about until after it healed years later. And I mean, I sat out for a couple of days because of the pain, but then just kind of toughed it out. So I mean, I've always kind of pushed myself, I feel like, to the limits, and it was just one that just
What's
it's
your
it's just
level of pain? Broken spine.
literally, yeah.
That's
Is
heavy.
it broke?
That's
Is it
heavy.
broken? Like, yeah.
It's
So the hit,
broke.
like for it to be that, but I don't know. It's like typically I have pretty good hamstring flexion. I can like touch my
Mm-hmm.
palms on the ground when I'm a little bit
Mm-hmm.
warm, and like easily touch my fists on the ground even when I'm like cold. And I couldn't even bend my left side past like my knee, so I was just like
Mm.
very very limiting. But yeah, luckily, like I said, I know how to handle it, and it was kind of a
Yeah.
good reminder to be more diligent in my everyday preparation, not just on the course but off the course. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
taking it kind of as a lesson and as a blessing in a way.
So we're 2 rounds in here at Ledgestone. Again, battling here in Peoria, Illinois. We had Eureka Temp yesterday, Northwoods Block today, right?
Yeah,
And then same combination the next 2 days.
yeah.
So how do we feel about the courses this year? Any major changes?
Nothing really other than Northwood just got a lot of clearing of kind of the brushy small stuff. The all the kind of main trees that you need to beat to score birdies they're still there. The birdies are still really hard, but the scrambling has gotten easier. The visibility has gotten easier for the spectators, which has to happen out there.
Yeah,
And yeah, I mean it's continuing to be arguably the best wooded track we have in the nation. To me, there's a couple
awesome
spots where
course.
I'd like to see like the last portion of the hole kind of thin up as you get to the green. I feel like they kind of throw a wall of trees at you a couple times, just like, oh, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of throw your like you got to throw a really demanding tee shot, really demanding second, and then that last 60, 80 feet sometimes is kind of a little skinny, and you don't want it to get super easy all of a sudden. You,
Mm-hmm.
you, you like a challenging track, but I think rewarding those high level shots as always as much as you can while challenging the players. I think is there's always a balance to find on a wooded course.
I feel like most of the circle ones on these greens are pretty unobstructed, even though they're in the heavily wooded holes. How do you feel about that as a sort of concept of introducing obstacles, natural or unnatural, kind of, to create a little more difficulty when approaching the pin? So, i.e., mozzarella sticks or some trees, what have you, to basically say like, okay, well, if you end up on this back half of the green or this quarter of the green, then you're going to have an obstructed putt, even if you're in circle one. So really, like, not necessarily punishing you for making it to circle one, but being like, hey, you have to be wise about how
Yeah,
you
you can't
approach.
just get anywhere in circle one. Yeah, and I like that, especially as we're trying to push the top level of the game. Like these players were so good, and there's so many good. There's every field it feels like right now is 80 strong of players with the skill set to win, and it's just like you have to punish things like that. You have to make players not just throw good shots physically, but build strong mental game plans where they know things like what side of the green to be on. And I think like anything, there's a balance to find. Like you don't want every single hole to have really obstructed circle ones throughout. I think if maybe
Mm-hmm.
half the course kind of has certain spots in circle one that are taken away, and then the other half's pretty open, but getting to the circle is tough, then I think I like
Mm-hmm.
that. So really, obviously, every hole is going to be dependent on what it looks like, but yeah, here there's a good balance, and I think the more we as players kind of play and see the shapes that they're trying to challenge us to do, we kind of have a good feeling for not only the shots that we can throw, but also like what's like a realistic shape of a frisbee in flight, and like I don't know, just yeah. Sometimes it's as a designer, it's hard until you really see the players playing the shots to truly
Mm-hmm.
like design the perfect course. So you're never gonna have it right on the first try, but the good thing about a course like Northwood and those guys, they listen and they're gonna make little adjustments over time. And yeah, then Eureka, the flip side of the coin, is kind of just purely a mental battle. It's all
Mm-hmm.
you kind of switch out to put your overstable backup discs in and get ready to just
Mm-hmm.
kind of double down on your game plan. Pretty wide open putting greens for the most part with some gentle slopes. So yeah, I had a really poor putting front nine yesterday at Eureka. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
six putted a hole. We'll let you guys in on a little
Spoiler
snippet.
alert.
And either side of that hole, I also missed like 25
All right,
footers for
all right. We
birdie.
got.
So
I
I
mean,
felt like
it's painful. I feel like we have to walk through this. How
we
do we
do,
get
we
there? What
do.
hole are we talking? What hole are we talking
Okay,
about
so
here?
I birdie hole one,
Yeah.
kind of chunk up hole two for a bogey. That'll happen there. I take it. It's all right. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Hole three, kind of dead straight, little wooded guy. Some guys go flex over the sidewalk.
Oh, that's
I
like the
threw
rows of trees.
yeah, threw a great
Mm-hmm.
shot with my truss up the middle, kind of low, 23 feet. Definitely a putt like I'm looking to pick up. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, 99 times out of 100, and just kind of heavy hyzer left side a little early. I didn't get a ton of putting in the last like 10 days because my hip, so the putter
Mm-hmm.
didn't feel like as natural just in my hand grip. I feel like as normal, so that's something that
Mm-hmm.
I kind of was thinking about a little bit. And then the next hole it is a bit of a little treacherous green there on four, kind of mounded, super slow. Like it has the little mound on the green, and then in general it's just kind of slopey throughout.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of ran like a 42 footer. Maybe I could have laid up being round one of a 4 round tournament, but I mean I have confidence as a player that I can make it, and I felt like if I could hit that, it would have really like built some fire in me. And
Sure.
just glanced left side chains, went to like 28, caged that because my mind wasn't in a great spot on that putt, and then it rolled into circle two, and I'm sitting there like, oh gosh, here's the kind of classic. So I'm circle two,
Uh-huh.
like in the woods, and I have to like crouch under the canopy to actually see where I'm aiming. But like when I'm in my actual stance, I can't really see, so I have to kind of like crouch, load, and like fire an anti putt out from circle two, and I hit the right side cage,
And of
kind of
course, at that
rolls.
point, you're not evaluating the next lie. You didn't think like,
Oh,
oh
I
man, do
have
I
to
need to
make
go
it.
back to
Yeah, I'm
my?
just
Did I
like,
go back to? Do you like re-putt from the previous spot?
it
Right? It's
wasn't
like too
quite
late.
that. That one wasn't quite
Wasn't quite
that
that
bad.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then from there, kind of glanced right side, did the roll out to 20, and at that point, I was just like super flustered. Like, what the? I didn't do my routine on that one. And then I banded
Mm-hmm.
that one, rolled kind of up the hill to like 18 feet, and then I go pick it up, and I just kind of look at the basket, cage it, and I take a 7 off a 6 putt, Greg. We're talking. I was very proud of my mental ability
I
to
mean,
keep
that's a lot
myself
of
calm.
metal. It sounds like you hit
Yeah,
metal
I
every
was.
time.
Yeah, I was all over the basket and just like the fans were probably just like terrified of watching it. And then the next hole is the big baseball field hyzer. I throw
You
a great
probably make
shot.
you make some fans because it's endearing because people are
Yeah,
like, oh,
I think if
he
they saw
is
how I
human.
handled it, I think then they would like it because I think a lot of players would have lost their minds in that situation and kind of like
Mm-hmm.
been unprofessional in their behavior, and I feel like I did a really good job there. So I was proud of that. And then five, I gave myself like a 25 footer for the comeback birdie, bounce back birdie. I caged that just low because it's on the elevated basket. And I'm like, the putter
Okay,
just doesn't feel right in my hands. But I'm like, okay, like we're all right. We got a lot of
and
tournament left in there.
we're still putting with faith.
No, I'm putting the gauntlet now. Yeah,
Gauntlet.
back to
Okay,
the gauntlet, which I used to
back
put
to
when
the
I first
gauntlet.
started. Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of KC AVRS. Good. Yeah, I like
Mm-hmm.
it. It is nothing to do with my equipment. And then
No,
yeah, I missed that one
it's
on
just
five.
like you said though. It's like kind of when you take the time off and you're literally forcing yourself not to practice, right? Which is like total opposite of your normal,
Yeah.
inclination. Yeah, and then so yeah, now it manifests itself here mid round, and it's that mental battle.
Yeah, and at this point, I'm like, oh gosh, this is kind of turning. Like Eureka is one of those courses that, like, if you're not mentally staying patient and sharp, like those OBs and those greens will just kind of chip away at you. And next hole is kind of that tough dogleg par four bends to the right, and I threw a good drive. Second shot, kind of questionable whether it skips or not. It gets the little skip out of bounds, kind of unfortunate, and I'm like
Mm-hmm.
toenail outside the circle, and I banned it. And so now I'm like, okay, I'm through 6 holes, and I've missed like equally as many circle one putts or whatever. I don't even know what this is at this point. So I was kind of a little bit lost, and I just had to keep throwing my game plan and like try to focus up,
Mm-hmm.
and I ended up birdieing 7 of the last 8 holes to crawl myself under par. Like, and I felt like a true champion, honestly, on that back nine, just to like be able to stay focused and birdie the last four
Mm-hmm.
to get under par. Like, it felt like I kind of
This,
took my fate in my own hands, and I was like, man, other than my 6 missed circle one putts and my 5 OB strokes, I was playing winning golf. So it's like,
mm-hmm.
like as tough as those mistakes were, it was really easy cleanup. Circle one's the easiest thing to practice, easiest
Mm-hmm.
thing to work on, just getting yourself comfortable and feeling the rhythm, and then like the OBs kind of like those can happen at Eureka. I mean, you expect maybe one or two, even if you're playing good sometimes, but 5 was definitely a little bit sloppy. So yeah, I feel really good, like really good about like how sharp the rest of my round was, and then yeah, coming into Northwood today, I felt like the woods is somewhere where I feel like I thrive, and I like
Mm-hmm.
throwing slower disc fairways. I can throw forehand, backhand, so I feel like I don't know. I love playing in the woods, and it just seems like over the years I've kind of like played well at wooded courses, and obviously got the win at Delaware, which is one of the more wooded tracks out there. But
For sure.
um, yeah, I felt good coming in today. Just Northwoods is it is a beast. Like, it just slowly but surely kind of like it puts so much pressure on every putt because you know how hard it was to get there for the putt, and
I
it
started
has a
calling
way of like
after I played Northwood. Again, fortunate enough to be there last year. Had a solo round, shot just brutal, just got destroyed. One birdie, hole three.
hey, let's
Um,
go.
it got to it's the exact thing where it's like you've done this mental battle. You've had to think on the drive, on your upshot, second shot, whatever, getting to the green. So when you have that 18-footer at Northwood, you're like, that's in. I am putting that in because it's a
Yeah,
Northwoods putt. Because it's like, okay, I'm not even thinking about it. Like, I've done too much work.
yeah,
It's like the exhaustion is set in. So now it's just like me in the basket. This is in. I got to go to the next one. It's survival at this point. That's a new
yeah.
term I have in my disc golf lexicon.
No, it's truly a mental battle. It's like once you enter those woods, like you're in for 3.5, 4 hours. Like, you are in for it. You better not let yourself stray. You better not get in a bad place mentally. Like, that course will eat you alive. And yeah, no, I felt like my game was really, really sharp today. I missed 3 circle ones, so once again, kind of like need to get a little more comfort on the green.
Mm-hmm.
But all day I kind of battled through good shots. There's maybe 2 shots that I could have changed disc selection. I think I might switch to forehand instead of backhand on 15's drive. It's kind of the par four, plays straight with like a gentle right to left slope and the out of bounds line on the left. So I just played my backhand a little low today, curled out of bounds left, and didn't
Mm-hmm.
get up and down for par. So I feel like my forehand was feeling good, and I think I can just kind of chip forehand on that hole and score the birdie there while kind of keeping that out of bounds line on the left away. So I think that's something I'll change for tomorrow. And other than that, I think I was just like, that's one of those courses you're off by 1-2%. Sometimes you can't really get the score. And I mean, I
Yeah.
had a couple early birdie putts that I know I had a chance to go like 5, 6 straight birdies early on, which kind of like that kind of I think set the tone for my round and made it feel like I was working hard but not quite scoring. So I think that kind of grinded me down a
Mm-hmm.
bit. Like hole two, I threw perfect drive, second shot. I just haven't felt really comfortable with all week. I haven't really known exactly what disc I want to throw. It's like an
Mm-hmm.
awkward like 300-foot range on a little bit of like kind of a slight backhand turnover usually from when I've been ending
Mm-hmm.
up, and I've just been like, I don't know, something about that shot's just been giving me weird trouble all week. So I think I might change my strategy there tomorrow. I don't know, maybe throw like a hyzer flip or something on that. Throw something flippier or something. I don't know, because I've been like just yanking over a little bit on my pure trying to throw that. So I feel like I threw a great drive there, missed the opportunity. That was okay. Hole three, I birdied it. That was always a good one to pick up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, four, I threw a great flex forehand. Looking at the basket, I throw it up to, I kind of hit that little wall past the bridge there and like skitter up a little bit. I'm sitting
Mm-hmm.
27 feet, and I just kind of I'm below the basket, and I kind of coming up at it and hit it a little flat and hard on the right side, and it just kind of flops out.
Mm-hmm.
So like that was a circle one birdie miss right there. It's like, okay, like I could have gone 2 in a row right there. Could have got 3 and 4, and then hole 5, the little short putter shot, and then bends up the hill. I
Mm-hmm.
played that one perfectly off the tee, and then I have probably 120 feet in, and I should have went to the little chip backhand turnover because for that type of range, I feel better with backhand. When I have to throw a forehand super soft, I feel like I'm not always
Mm-hmm.
super comfortable, but I was like, you know what, this is short enough. Like I have this. I'm making this shot, and I just yanked it wide with my forehand there. So, I mean, 120-foot upshot, you feel like you got to have that every time, and that could have been 3 straight birdies right there. All of a sudden, like the momentum is kind of
Mm-hmm.
carrying, and then I get to hole 6 and played a perfect hyzer flip explorer. That's the par 5. Second shot kind of bends down the hill to the left, and there's a tree that I was aiming at that I thought was a different tree that's about 60 feet left of that one. So when I faded like in front of it, I'm thinking like, okay, I'm down there kind of in
Right.
the
Sweet
shortcut
spot.
somewhere,
Yeah.
and I ended up it was another tree that was way right of that. So I was like kind of long in the stuff. I had like 300-foot forehand that I kind of yanked over, and then had to putt from. They have like a couple areas right now that have wasps and bees that are just like they're
Yeah, we
not
heard them
damaged, but
talking
they
about
just
that.
spray
Is
the
Jeff
game up.
Turquoise okay? I haven't checked on him.
Oh, did he get stung or something?
I think he was there at ground zero.
Oh man,
Yeah.
man. Well, because like I don't know why they haven't. Like, obviously, I hate like really interfering with nature a ton on our courses, like the
Yeah.
least we can. But
I
like,
guess it's just when you get more people there, more stuff is disturbed. So maybe you wouldn't have noticed it yet. It's hard to
yeah,
say.
like Hornets and Circle One just feel a little
It's a little-
barbaric. But it's
maybe
like
look, you guys are. It's too easy. The game's too easy.
just
We're
imagine it's
gonna
water, you guys. Just like,
we're gonna put a moat. We're gonna put a moat around every circle. Bees. There's gonna be bees.
there's gonna
Uh,
be patches of thistle like at the preserve that you gotta play out of if you're in it. You gotta,
wild boar. It's not gonna be easy. You're gonna wanna
nah,
pack some
yeah.
protection. What are you loving in the bag right now? I got a couple of Conor O'Reilly discs right here. You
Ooh,
can't
that
buy
rare
these.
bird.
You can't buy these on otbdisc.com because they're sold out. But maybe you can still get
Ooh,
them somewhere. Can you get them
some
anywhere?
retailer might have them. Yeah, but we better
All right,
sell
you
them out
got.
quick so we can get another batch, y'all.
And then there's still these harps. I don't know why you
We
all are
got
sleeping on these
harps.
harps. These harps are
And we got
great.
some Ballista Pros if you're looking for a good long
This
distance
is a
driver.
double A. This is a double A signature. Conor O'Reilly, BT Hard Burst. Whew, that baby's
Yeah,
sweet.
everyone can use a harp, honestly. I got 2 in my
Uh,
bag right now. Honestly, yeah, I feel like my bag's pretty dialed, and I really like the Latitude lineup right now. I kind of go,
mm-hmm. Because you get
I go my
gauntlets, the putter.
gauntlets.
Yeah.
Yeah, gauntlets. I've been thinking even recently about, I don't know, I still love my faith for throwing and stuff, but I've kind of been thinking about like just fully taking the faith out almost and just having some gauntlets to throw and to putt with. But I
Okay.
do kind of like the slowness of the faith. I don't, the gauntlet's a little faster, so I feel like shots like in the 250 and below range, the faith's always going to kind of reign a little supreme for me, or like up to 280 with some ceiling. So I don't know that I'll be able to fully, because the kind of idea of like simplifying my bag to like a couple molds over time, like has always been attractive to me. I don't know why, even though
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't really matter. Like as long as the disc flies, like and you can pick it up and throw it and see what it does, and it doesn't matter if it's like the same mold or not. But I don't know. It feels simple to me to like be able to be like Philo and have like I got destroyers, T-birds, I got rocks, and that's about it. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, yeah, I don't quite have like the cycled discs to like do that, but I feel like,
What's your ride right now? You like your ride right now?
yeah, I'm loving the ride. It's funny because like these 2 courses, I have such big flip ups. Like I'm carrying 4 rives at Northwood right now, but I have like my flippiest one in my entire collection. I have like a pretty straight flat top one for forehands out there, and then I have like my kind of beat in Snorlax one, and then like one stable one for like if I need to flex a forehand at Northwood. And then I get to Eureka, and I just kind of toss in all the stable rives and like put in a backup brand new silver one from this year. Those are nice and overstable. Got my kind of season one, and at Northwood, I kind of have to like put in all my very seasoned like versions of my discs. And yeah, the Rive is such a good distance driver. That really does all my duties right now for like when I need distance, but like
Mm-hmm.
don't just need like super overstable. When I still need that guaranteed finish, I'm still reaching on like the OptoX Ballista Pros and the stiletto. But honestly, these new silver rives have kind of taken some of those shots away. Like when I throw back and I feel a lot of trust in that disc, even in the wind. So yeah,
Okay.
the rives that they've been the first. These new silver ones have been the first batch that have been like true flex worthy disc, like kind of like what we hear about those Calvin destroyers everyone likes. But
Mm-hmm. Very cool. So check the Silver Lap, Orbit,
yeah,
Royal,
for sure. And the Explorer
Rive.
is
Yeah.
always fantastic disc. That's one that I've definitely grown to love over the years, and I feel like I just love throwing those 7-speed like shapeable fairway drivers. The Honor has really complemented the Explorer well for me because it holds up a
Mm-hmm.
lot better. I can rip it
Mm-hmm.
flat, and it's not gonna
Mm-hmm.
kind of just ride straight or even to the right like the Explorer will. It'll really hold up. So that one kind of has surprised me how much I've really been liking that. And I don't know. I've kind of the trust has really been like I love the compass. And I love the trust, and like the battle has been like just kind of like it's been
Mm-hmm.
hard for me because like I have so many good compasses that I've thrown and have memories with, and then the trust like I'm just kind of building new memories with, and I'm like, oh man, it just goes like so far. I feel like, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's not not a bad problem to have multiple discs that you like out of your lineup, but yeah, trying to
And as we know, sometimes bad things happen to good discs, and we have to replace them. So
exactly yeah.
I almost lost my that Claymore tried to get away,
Greg,
but she
if
she
you
came
guys have
back.
ever if you've never seen Greg play, he has some of the best kind of touch forehand. Like he can get these understable discs to shape in ways that like I wish I had the confidence to do in a tournament. But yeah, Greg's
Just gotta
done
get the
some
right.
dirty stuff with
Just
that
gotta get the
Claymore.
right. Just gotta get the right disc in his hands, folks. Looking forward to our rematch with Ella and Raven whenever we get that lined up.
That was one of our best hitters on YouTube so far this season. So yeah, we definitely need more of that. We need more mics too, because Greg's just a natural. He calls me the natural, but Greg is I learned from the
Look,
best. So I get
someone's got to throw it. Someone's got to talk about it.
it.
All right, we've talked about a lot of frisboars. What's something non-disc golf that you gotten to do this season? Maybe that was a new experience or a new place that y'all visited, or what was a new memory that you really enjoyed so far in 2023?
That's a good one. I was pretty excited to get to take Megan when we were in Michigan for during our break. My family has like a house just a little bit off the beach in on Lake Michigan. It's like 100-year-old like cottage, like single pane glass and everything. And I've always, I mean, it's a spot that we would go every summer growing up. We would drive up to Michigan, and so, I mean, it was like 18, 20 straight years of me doing that. It always kind of held some of like our fondest
So like a 10-hour
childhood
drive?
summer
What's
memories.
that?
No,
12 hours?
it's 24 from
Oh
Austin,
wow, that's a
Texas
real
to
haul.
Montague,
That's a real
Michigan. Yeah,
haul. Yeah, I was way off
we would
there.
kind of stop like 20 hours in Chicago, because we have
20
family.
hours in.
We have family there, so we would like stay for a day
We
or two.
talking UP, we talking LP here.
We're talking LP.
Yeah.
We're
So
talking Montague, Michigan. It's kind of like once you're like at the border, it's probably like 2.5, 3 hours up on the West Coast. Like, so that was my first ever thoughts of like the beach was Lake Michigan and like kind
mhm,
of cold water, but the sand is amazing.
mhm.
And I mean,
Huge
it's
dunes.
yeah,
Are you
huge.
familiar? Have you ever been to Sleeping Bear? I think that's the southern
Yeah,
dunes.
100% been there.
So
That's a
yeah,
massive. Yeah,
we we got a Chevy Blazer stuck in the sand there on a road trip one time, but we got it out. Beautiful, just beautiful. If you haven't checked out the big sand dunes there around Lake Michigan, highly recommended. Definitely worth the visit.
yeah. West Michigan is definitely a hidden gem. Yeah,
Which,
yeah.
which brother?
Like I said, I highly recommend Western Michigan, and I was just happy to show Megan the place where a lot of my good memories are from. But yeah, it was Shay was calling. So
Uh, now your one brother has a new podcast, right?
yeah, Shay, he's been
Yeah, so Shay
doing a
was
little
going to get you. He was going to get you to call in, and
voice calling.
I had already bogarted
Get a
Connor
little
for
three-way
my
going.
podcast. There we go. We can get him in
Uh,
here maybe.
but yeah, y'all go check out Bunsa's Bucket List podcast. My brother Shay and my brother Callahan's been helping them out a lot. They're talking about all things basketball, and yeah, he's got a lot of passion for the game of basketball, and
You know we
he
love
loves
talking hoop. You know we love talking hoop around OTB. What's Shay's team? Is he,
he's a big Warriors guy. He's a winner. He's a winner. He
I got to
likes the
deal with
winning
these
team.
Warriors fans all
He
the
loves the
time.
winning
He's from
team.
Texas. Why is he a Dubs
He
fan?
wasn't always a Warriors fan, but he will tell you he was. He definitely was other things at once, but
Winning is a very powerful,
he really is.
suggestive.
It's a
Yeah,
hell of a drug. No.
yeah, for sure.
uh,
Okay, so what are we looking forward to? I don't want to keep you for too long. I know we're right in the middle of the tournament. I know you want to get back to the fly mart to see what everyone's got. You
no,
probably want to take
I'm too late
you
for
probably
that.
want to take a shower.
I'm gonna go
Yeah.
get some putting in. Let Hetchy come stomp on some of my putters. Only like
All right.
one out of every like 25 though, because I'm gonna be making a lot of them. But
Oh yeah,
yeah,
because
we're gonna go get some.
that's the punishment for a miss is you get a Hetch stomp.
Yeah, our dog,
Uh,
my girlfriend and I's dog Hetchy. He's if you guys don't know him, his favorite thing is this. If he has his disc in his mouth, he won't pick yours up, and he'll just stomp on him when they're done moving. And I think it's many of the tour players have been endeared to him or used him for some putting practice focus.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, what I'm looking forward to, Vermont, Worlds at Vermont. I think those courses set up so well for me, and that's been one of my best times every single season, if not my best time in terms of just enjoying life, being
Mm-hmm.
hanging out with the other disc golfers, going to the waterfalls afterwards. It's just
Mm-hmm.
like Vermont is special. Another one of those spots that like if you have a chance, it's definitely worth getting up there. And those two courses are definitely just such a good dichotomy between the two of them, and they do such a good
Mm-hmm.
job out there.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a little more complementary to the contrasting style of the Peoria courses, which have got to be some of the most drastic,
That is for sure.
changes in sort of technique and style that you can have on the tour.
I mean, I don't think there's been even some of these courses where we've had two. Some of these turns where we've had two courses. I feel like there's
Right,
none
because
where I've
like
like
because Jones and the Country Club are different, but
you can throw a
they're
lot of
both
the
they're
same
both mostly
stabilities and stuff.
open.
Like yeah,
You're both dealing with wind a lot, and OB is very critical there. Whereas at these courses, Northwood, one of the most premier wooded courses we have in the country, Lake Eureka, one of these difficult sort of almost like it reminds me of a USDGC, like a Winthrop, in the
yeah,
sense that it's a little bit quirky and a little bit odd, but since it's been played and kind of appreciated over the years and had a chance to mature, people are familiar with those quirks, and it just makes for very touchy technical golf, especially when you're finishing around on that lakeside.
yeah. No, I think that was a great point you brought up. It's definitely one of those courses that has this kind of USDGC vibes. And honestly, I have to give a huge shout out to the Peoria area and the
Mm-hmm.
fans out here. It's another like we have good fandom throughout the year, but like here
Mm-hmm.
they're so much more I feel like in tune with the game. Like I'm not
Mm-hmm.
trying to throw. I'm sorry. I know there's great fans everywhere. Like I know we have some of the best fans like everywhere we go, but I just feel like it seems like kind of on average these fans in Peoria are like really into it and
And
know
you,
they know all the players. They don't just know the feature card boys.
mm-hmm.
And so yeah, it's kind of nice and to get to a town like this and just interact with so many fans and stuff.
There's definitely multiple reasons that they've hosted multiple worlds, multiple Masters worlds and AM worlds. Just being able to handle the infrastructure of a pro tour, but then also an large scale amateur event, and then really high level courses all around because you've got Sunset, you've got Wilderness, you've got, you know, even the simpler parks like I believe it's Maxwell still have some challenge.
Look at this. This guy Greg, he's a course collector. He knows them. He knows them all. He
Oh, we're
knows
out
them
there.
all.
What's your number? What's your number? I threw my number at you the other day.
Man, I feel like I need to go back on UDisc and do some like
Some
addition.
backtracking.
But I
Hmm.
think I'm probably somewhere. I know I'm probably around the 150 range right now, probably.
I'm slipping behind.
Maybe.
My goal
But
was I wanted to be up to 300 by the end of the year, so I'm gonna have to do a lot of work when we get to the East Coast.
once the tour has started for me, it just my course collecting kind of went like down just because
Hmm.
like I don't have a
You
lot of
got a
time to
full
put into
schedule.
courses. I think this off season though, I do have some. And with when we do Vlogmas, we kind of have an opportunity to try to get some more new courses in, and I do want to play
Hmm.
some more courses just for fun because I do enjoy doing that. But I do have to make sure to give some non disc golf time to Megan too. So I gotta.
We're breaking news here. Connor Riley, he still likes disc golf, folks, but he loves his girl. Shout out to Megan. Shout out to Hetch. Shout out
Yeah.
to Yosemite and that
Oh yeah.
beautiful place that inspired some 1,000 relationships probably or more.
Absolutely. That place is magical for sure.
Give some shout outs, Connor. Who do you want to thank? Yeah, just
First and
hit them up right now.
foremost, thanks to you for having me on, Greg, and thanks to
My
OTB for
pleasure.
always being my first supporters in the game, and always I always know I can count on you guys to just make me feel more at ease on the road, and and I just know OTB always has my back, and I try to make sure I've always got their back too, and yeah, it's just always been a great relationship we've had, and also, obviously thanks to Latitude for sponsoring me and providing some really good plastic. Thanks to Lucky Ace Disc for helping support me down in Texas, kind of a local brand there, and also thanks to On Your Card, a fantasy platform where you can play against your favorite pros and also support them in the process monetarily. And Throw Joe's, some of the best guys in the game. I'm actually going to be out there at that booth tomorrow hanging out and selling
That's
some
right.
discs and
We'll try and
whatnot.
get this out fast. But folks, go check out Connor out at Ledgestone with our buddy Mr. Joe Rondo of Throw Joe's. That's a spoiler.
Yeah, no,
So I just leaked all of his personal info.
I feel like most of my most of my discs in my bag now are dyed, and I definitely love busting out some of my Throw Joe's ones. I got this Honor with like half and half dye with like some mushrooms and kind of ferns and stuff, and it's like, yeah, that one's juicy.
He knows what he's doing, and they do fly farther. So if you haven't checked out Throw Joe's, make sure you go do that. Support my boy Connor O'Reilly. Come get a safari hat. We have those nice those pink hats. Maybe are still available.
Yeah, we got. I think we still got some of these
some apparel
CO hats. The safari hats with the neck flap. Those
best
have been
hat in
big
the
for me
game
this summertime. Yeah, they've been huge. And I got a big old dome, so if they fit me, they're gonna fit you. I can promise you. But
available in multiple sizes, and they are adjustable.
I
Infused with bug spray.
I miss the West Coast. I miss being an OTB. I'm dreaming up some kind of a off-season trip out there somehow. I don't know. I just want to be around that energy.
Well, either that or we're going to Sweden. Okay,
it's not a bad call.
You know,
we got the
places to
passports.
go. I checked on it. Everyone can rest assured that I had a panic attack the other day and went and looked for my my passport right before I left for work, just so I might be late. And I know where it is, so no big deal.
Priorities.
Connor, always a pleasure, buddy.
Absolutely, Greg. Thanks for having me.
All right, go scratch that dog. We'll talk to you later. Good luck the rest of the weekend. Love you, buddy.
Love you too, sir.
All right, everybody, you've been tuned into Morning Round here in the afternoon on the OTB Podcast Network. I'm Greggy Biscuits. You've been you. Stay tuned for the next thrilling installment of Morning Round. Later.
Peace.